I hear somebody's kid in the background.
All right, welcome everyone, all geeks and nerds. This is Tyrell, but you can call me Dr. Geekly.
Hi, I'm Mixania.
And we got Tsunakage,
Hello, hello.
and we got a special guest with us today. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hello, guys.
And
I jumped the gun.
no, go ahead.
I'm excited. Stephanie Nadolny, OG Voices of Kigoku. Go on. It's good. Baby Trunks. And KO from OKKO. Let's Be Heroes, as featured on Cartoon Network years and years ago.
This is so cool.
Great to be
so
here. That is
awesome.
Out.
But we are here to talk about her experiences with all of her shows and dive deep into what it's like to be a voice actor. So we will start with question number 1. Do you think Dragon Ball would be as popular as it did, like as it popped off?
Oh, no. I had no idea. I didn't even know what anime was when I auditioned. It was many years ago. I was traveling with a show band and got the audition through working with musicians and writing some original music and recording in the studio. And I met the producer / director at one of the sessions who was just sitting in just because he wanted to hang out with us. I said years ago. And we exchanged information, and he asked me if I would be interested in voice acting. And I told him that I've been doing a lot of musical theater, a lot of other types of voice acting, Chuck E. Cheese, and some stuff for Jemmy Toys, where I do the voices of just random characters that are singing little songs, for kids and stuff. And that was what I'd had experience doing. And then I was traveling with a show band. We did mostly oldies, 50s through the 90s. And I started with them right after high school. And then many years later is when I met Brave Combo, Grammy Award winning polka band. And then that's when I met Barry Watson. And that's when I came into audition. So I'm just really glad that he took notice and heard something in my voice that he thought might be a good fit for one of the characters. Because he was already taping the show in Canada prior. So it was basically just brought down to DFW, right to work state, no residuals, no royalties, and just recast. So that's kind of how it was. It wasn't steady work for really most of any of us unless we were directors or we had like a lead role and a lot of different stuff at the same time. But the company was really small. It was called Funimation. And I auditioned the end of 1998 and tried out for all the females and ended up with the role of Gohan, which is a young boy. So my anime career began, like I said, I didn't even know what anime was. I mean, I knew it was a cartoon feature, but when it starts in Japan, it's Japanime. So, and it's one of the gateway animes, it's way bigger than any of us would have ever imagined.
Yes, like Dragon Ball is like the groundwork for most action anime, in my opinion. Like every time people make animes nowadays, they usually base it off of like Dragon Ball in some way or another.
Yeah, it's like little extensions and references and like subtle things that are kind of in each of what you're talking about. Because I've seen some people post things like that and reference how it's been affected by Dragon Ball Z. In fact, I see it in some movies. They mentioned Dragon Ball Z. 2.5 Men. He said the kid said he wanted a new Dragon Ball Z game.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've seen it reference the Kamea Wave, a big blast of something just like the Kamea Wave from Dragon Ball Z. And it's always so random. It's always like, what? I mean, even there was even a reference on Jimmy Fallon. He was grouping together words in books to make something sound funny, and they took a book and then they put Z on it. I think they put Dragonfly B or something. Dragonfly Z. So that's how. When I heard that, I was like, oh my god, because I'm a huge Jimmy Fallon fan. So I thought that was just really
understandable.
Super cool. I know.
Yeah,
that's how it happened for me. thought that my singing was going to take me through the roof, but it actually was the voice acting that was much more popular, much more of a unique talent. And to be able to sing and in a character voice is something that I found was, not everybody can do that. Sometimes they're just a good voice actor or they're just a good singer, but to be a good singer and actor and dancer, whatever. I mean, it's like
that's amazing.
The whole triple threat thing and Broadway, whatever, I knew at age 3, my first memories of me holding a microphone and not wanting to let go. My dad was like, it's time to go to bed. And I just didn't want to.
I didn't want to go to bed.
Yeah,
I was obsessed. And I, carried around a cassette player with me. And once I got cassettes and started recording original music on the piano and poetry and songs and my babysitters and mimicked voices. And that was what I did on my free time. So I was really learning a lot about what my voice could do as a child.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. And
what do you enjoy most about voice acting?
Oh, stuff like this, face to face with the fans, podcasts, interactions with people, hearing about their stories related to how Dragon Ball Z was got them through hard times, whether it's being bullied at school, being made fun of, yeah, and I went through a lot of that. I was a new girl, and I went through a lot of emotional bullying because I was living in small towns, and we were moving every couple of years because of my stepdad's career. But I always stayed with my mom, who I'm fiercely close to. She right when I got cast as Gohan, she was diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia, and I ended up losing her that year. So she's been gone 25 years. My mom.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Condolences.
My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I mean, I won't like linger on anything sad or morbid or anything like that. But it was just a big year for me. There's a lot going on. I was traveling. I was saving up for a house. I was just, mid 20s. So I was just kind of starting to what was I going to do? I could have gone back to college, but I got bit by the bug, and I was going to do music and singing and live performance and studio performance just forever. So I'm not encouraging anybody to not get an education, and anybody can always go back.
Yeah.
But, my dream was to perform and travel and tour, and that's what I had to do at the time. I was only 19 years old, and it was a good time for me out there on the road. And being in Dallas-Fort Worth area was also another really good thing for me, because it's a much larger metroplex and much more opportunities rather than living in the small towns. I was going to definitely have to live in a bigger metropolis at the time to really be cast in something big like that.
Yep. Also, happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What did you do for your birthday?
2 days ago. I'm actually, if we get done in time, we're going to birthday dinner tonight. So we're hoping we want to give you all a lot of time, but the restaurants start to close here pretty soon. So
okay, we'll get there.
We won't rush anything. It's just
you want your birthday dinner?
Yeah, I'm ready because we didn't get to do it yet.
I understand.
I traveled last weekend and everything, but it's all good.
So, Kage, what one of your questions?
Okay, hold on. Because I got plenty. Nah. Okay, so I know sometimes, when you hold on, my bad. I'm excited. Hold on, I'm getting a little too carried away right now.
Trying to form the words, huh?
Yeah. Okay, so.
Well, I'm safe. I haven't bitten anybody in at least a week, so. No
Okay, so I know, like, outside of your voice acting, you hang out with a lot of your cast members and everything. So, like, can you share any funny or memorable behind the scene moments from your voice acting career?
Yeah, there was a bunch of times early on when some of the voice actors that were kind of coming in, the company was growing, were also becoming voice directors. And so that was kind of fun to like interact with the other actors, but with them behind the director chair to kind of like guide us through. And, we were all just a bunch of kids, and we were always goofing around and, throwing some pranks around. And it was a much better time in some ways, because it wasn't like this ginormous company like it is now. And it's so complicated to get in. And, I'm auditioning, still not getting cast. It's real easy to get lost in the shuffle. It's fiercely competitive, cutthroat to the max. But the good old days were the days when it was early in the Funimation company, and they were doing, licensing and picking up different properties like Blue Gender and Fairy Tale. Was it a Fairy Tale? I can't remember the name of that one. Fruits Basket and Case Closed, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Kitty Grade. And what was cool around that time too is I got to be a director with some of the singers, because I had been recruiting and mentoring young girl singers for Vince Vance and the Valiants, which is a show band that always had 3-year-old singers. So I got to kind of sit behind the director's chair and direct. In fact, I directed Tiffany Vollmer, who's the voice of Bulma, the OG Bulma.
Oh my God.
And I found it to be like really interesting. Like I may do some more of that someday. If I come up with my own music, or if I come up with my own project, but a lot of it was just being supportive and making them comfortable in the booth, and to get the best out of them, and try, hopefully they're on key. But I was working with that show band that they used, and so I was never credited. It is on my website, and people are starting to figure it out, but for whatever reason, they credited the band leader and not who voiced, yeah, but so it's something that not everybody knows. But I did this Sayonara Bye Bye song, which is one of my more popular ones, and then the opening and closing themes for Kitty Grade. And it was really fun to work behind the scenes and take the Japanese lyrics and turn them into something lyrically in English with Carl Finch, Brave Combo. And we just, it was something I could have done forever. I mean, that and jingles and parodies and writing funny lyrics to changing the lyrics like Weird Al Yankovic. I'm a huge fan. I grew up listening to Weird Al. So I've written a lot of really funny parodies about just various stuff like, I don't know, eating, throwing up. I got one called Broccoli Spears. Broccoli Spears, eat your veggies when you dine. And I found that that's something that I enjoyed more than I ever thought I would, is just to really take a song and then change the lyrics and make it funny. I do it all the time anyway, just singing around the house, and me and my guy, Dan, he's actually here, my production director and engineer is on the other side over there. Let me tell you, we have a lot of fun just being silly around the house. We don't have kids. I wanted kids desperately, but I wasn't able to have kids. But he's got a kid in me, because I'm never going to grow up.
I understand.
I mean, I think everybody is a nerd and a geek. It just depends on what they geek out about.
Exactly.
Facts.
Like, don't criticize somebody for what they like or why. I guess because when people are kids, they're just immature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're very insecure about themselves, and so they want to pick on other people, because that way no one's looking at their indiscretions or their mistakes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anti-bullying is one of my big things. I try to donate my time and volunteer for anti-bullying campaigns and radio podcasts. And I visit schools where kids are challenged, where they might want to go into the creative field of some kind, and they just need some encouragement, and they're just going through a lot at home. And because I understand domestic violence, there was a lot of that going on in my house when I was a little girl, and how it can affect you. You take that you take all that trauma and all that whatever's going on into your formative years and into your adult years, and it's stuff that you have to just continue to work on. And some people have it worse than others. It's it is what it is. But I got a big heart for all of that kind of stuff, because mental illness, PTSD, anxiety. I mean, it's a very real thing, and it
for sure
needs to be needs to be treated, you know, just like it is. It's an illness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one other question was, what was your experience like playing these characters, and how fun was it?
Oh, I had a blast with Goku. That I'm all comedy and I'm silly as can be. So it's not that I don't think I completely totally suck at the dramatic stuff, because I did go to college for that, but I'm just naturally better at the silly, slapstick, innocent, you know, why do women have butts on their chest? I don't know. You know, he had like the best lines, you know, the best comedic.
I love that.
He wasn't scared of anything. He was fearless. He was raised in the woods, didn't know what a girl was. You know, running around patting people's crotches to see if they're a boy and a girl. Like, oh, that's it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, you know. It's just
oh my god.
Master Roshi. I mean, it was just very lighthearted and carefree and hilarious. And some of my most favorite moments were from Dragon Ball and from working with Chris Kaysen was one of the directors, and he and I laughed so many times just because I would sometimes react to picture, but it would be like for a long time, and there'd be like Goku climbing up a mountain, and it'd be like, and it's like, it sounds funny, but reacting became kind of early on what I was best at, because Gohan, I got cast as Gohan first, and I didn't even know Dragon Ball existed. Dragon Ball came later. We did it backwards. But Gohan in the Ginyu Saga, he's prominent, but not so prominent that he has a ton of dialogue. So I learned a lot of lip flaps, matching, and being a musician made it easier because I could time it out, the rhythm right. And we were wind and fast forward back then because we were putting everything out on VHS tape. So, but I learned quick, you know, I'd been traveling with a band. I mean, I just tell me what to do, take good direction, and you're all good. But having that acting background was key. And the singing really, because it all kind of had a part in the overall voice that I'm using characters and bring those characters to life. So, but we had some fun back in the day when it was not so serious, as a much smaller company. We were having cast parties once a year so we could meet each other, because we recorded separately. So it's changed a lot. It changed from Funimation, and then Sony bought it, and now it's Crunchyroll, and it's now very, very corporate and a whole different animal. And it seems like everybody wants to be a voice actor, so everybody's submitting, and then makes it, you know, even more competition, which is okay. That's just the industry, you know. That's where you go anywhere like Hollywood or LA or New York or Broadway. I mean, there's going to be some cutthroat stuff going on, so you just have to thicken your skin and not let it get you down, you know. I certainly haven't retired or anything like that. I just think
thank God.
Fell out of favor with one of the directors, and then it just kind of like, it was a misunderstanding that kind of never gotten taken care of, which all we'd have to do is to chat it out and probably would have been fine. But so then, you know, 10, 15 years passed. It's like I'm still not really in anything, but I am so excited to be working on some small independent projects. And then I'm also doing these types of things with podcasting and, you know, interviews. And I do some consulting with young singers. I was also during COVID teaching piano and voice to kids, because
that's so cool.
And my mom loved kids, and I'm just like her. So I found that to be very fulfilling, to really kind of take these kids under my wing and, you know, kind of get them started and get them out of their comfort zone and not, you know, get rid of some stage fright. I had stage fright when I was real little, and I feel like that's something I can go back to. It was a little hard to do on Zoom though. That being in the same room when you're teaching piano and voices was much, much more effective, but we did good, right? I mean, we all had to go through the pandemic and do the best that we could with it. And look at what we're doing. We're able to communicate like all these different ways now. We're trying to use it to our advantage. But no, I'm still in the mix. A lot of what I'm doing right now is Comic-Cons, comic store appearances. I either book myself or my manager jumps in. I have maybe 6 or 7 different agents that book.
Oh wow.
Whatever. I mean, whoever wants to book me they get their portion. Everybody's, we work it out. Everything's negotiable. And, yeah, that's the biggest thing that's been going on since around 2017, 18. I didn't think I would be, I just didn't understand why they would want me as a guest because my work was done so long ago. And I was very humble about it. And like, hey, I'm not anything brand new. So it's cool. I understand. I won't get my feelings hurt. But then they have people call me. They would be reaching out and emailing me and saying, hey, you need to be doing Comic-Cons and you need to be, And then there was a Dragon Ball Z Comic-Con that they had here in Dallas Fort Worth. I did year 2 through 5 on that. And I'm not sure if they're going to do another one next year or not. I know they're skipping this year, but now I'm realizing why it makes sense. It's nostalgia. It's you guys and people, whomever grew up watching, whatever they watched, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Cowboy Bebop. Those are all the gateway animes. And so I understand a little bit more now why I would have some relevance. And of course, I do see some of my castmates throughout. Whoever, sometimes we'll be booked together, or we, might be a year before I see Tiffany, or it might be a year before I see Linda, the voice of Frieza. But we do follow each other on social media, and a lot of them still live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Some have moved away. But yeah, no, I just try to stay positive. It's just a big mountain to try to climb and get kind of back out, because I was going through a lot in my personal life, trying to start a family, and was not able to do that. And I had a lot of really unfortunate things happen. My mom's sister died. My best friend stole my identity. I mean, I had these crazy.
Oh,
2000,
not your best friend.
Well, I was helping her raise her child, and was actually living with her for a while. So I was already paying her bills. It's just that when I moved back into my house, she kept charging the cards to pay her bill. That was heartbreaking. Yeah, that was really heartbreaking. So I was just going through a lot, and so I just had to I really had to rebuild my entire life from scratch. And I'm telling you right now, I couldn't do it without faith and my mom's being there, and without Dan in my life. He's my bass player. I met him in 2003. Now we're a couple. We're best friends. We help each other through everything. And yeah, we had a dog. We got a baby. We got a fur baby. I have 2 cats.
What's your dog's name?
His name's Brady.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a Chiweenie with a little bit of terrier. He's adorable, and he's the best dog ever. I know everybody says that about their dog, but I'm telling you, this dog is pure sugar. I mean, he just rolls right over, and just you can do anything to him. You can shake him. You can, not that I would do that, but I do. I shake him around, and I just want to squeeze him.
What are your cats' names?
I have 2. They're Persian. They're freaking royalty. They're just, all they do is sit around and look beautiful. They're long hair. Itty Bitty is the older one, and she was just so tiny when I got her. She was a gift. But they look like they're, because of their fur, that their furrowed brow makes them look like they're kind of like mad.
Like Brownie Cat.
Yeah, it's kind of like the grumpy cat, but Itty's just, it's because she's got like all these streaks of gray, so it makes it look like she's got eyebrows. But she's like the Friskies cat on TV, like she's solid white with a little bit of gray. And then my baby, I call them my babies, regardless of how old they are. But the baby is JoJo, and she's a calico Persian, and they're sister cats. They were from the same daddy cat. They kind of stay away, and Brady's got his space, and then when Brady goes to bed with us, the cats come out and they roam around, and then you know how it is. They just kind of like territorial.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of space for that, so we're not worried about it. Yeah, I know. Who doesn't love animals? You learn a lot about people who not just how they treat people, but how they treat animals.
Treat their animals.
Really,
That's how you know. That's how you know a person.
Yeah, and if you've got the gut feeling that somebody's a little off, you gotta get out of Dodge, because there's some crazies out there.
Major red flag.
Major red flag.
I know, because they depend on us for everything. You can't abuse them. But But yeah, no, everything's on the up and up. I've got some big stuff coming up. I'm going to be hopefully having Dan update my website. It's just stephanienadolny.com. I've got Instagram, Stephanie Nadolny. I've got Facebook, Stephanie Nadolny voice actress page, and TikTok is at Steph Nadolny. And we'll be updating that. Our biggest exciting news is, God willing, there's no issues with visas and passports and everything. We are been invited to Melbourne, Australia for Oz Comic Con.
wow.
Yeah,
So cool.
Australia. And then like a week after that, we'll be in New Zealand at Armageddon. And yeah, Dan's never been. I've been out that way many years ago. They had me come out in 2002, and I appeared with Ash, the voice of Ash Ketchum.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I just saw her like literally 2 weeks ago for the first time in 22 years. I'm like, I have been trying to find you. You'd think we'd be at more events together, just because we kind of girls doing the boy voices kind of thing, it's kind of a trend, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
So,
what was, if I may ask, what was the hardest thing about voice acting for these characters?
For me, it was the screaming and yelling for like ever. The good side is I had the chops because I was singing and performing all the time. I was touring with a band that was extremely popular. We were booked 280 something days a year.
Wow.
I was singing all styles of music, including rock and roll, R&B, soul jazz, Motown, country, constantly using my voice. And as a result, that gave me a lot of stamina. But it didn't mean that it wasn't, uncomfortable when you're screaming and yelling like a man. And it's not natural for me with short chords. I'm supposed to be like a soprano, singing and talking way up here. But over time, and this is normal for most vocalists, is my voice has naturally lowered. Not just from the beating I've been taking up with singing and performing live, but also with the Dragon. The Cell Saga was really the big one for me. That
the Teen Gohan one. I know.
I needed a day off in between if it was possible, when we were really working hard on that. And then I just knew how to take care of my voice because I've been doing it for so long. Hot tea, steam, rest, sleep, lots and lots of water. And I can almost feel like I know my voice so well. I can feel when I need more care or I need something to like baby my voice. And then, sometimes you just have to shut the freak up and not say anything for 2 days. And that's not easy for some of us. It's like, rest your voice. It's like, how do you just not talk? I mean, it was easier during COVID, I guess, because you couldn't go out and talk really, but I was just practicing for my career when I was little. I talk in school, I was just getting ready for my career.
Yep.
And no, I still got punished for that,
Oh, I still got punished for that.
I did. I got punished, but I did really well in school otherwise, but conduct was something I really had to work on.
Unrelated, what was your favorite course in school? Or your favorite subject?
Well, if I had to choose an actual subject, it was probably English, and I always loved history. But my absolute favorite was choir, and
of course,
and drill, and pom pom, and anything. All the extracurriculars were my favorite. Again, it was more training for what I was going to be doing later in life. It's like, why not start young? Why not start kind of building a resume? Kind of what I was doing.
Mixed Nia, she is an upcoming artist too in the singing biz.
Really?
Yeah,
you should check out her music.
Song out on all platforms, actually.
I love that. Good for you.
Thank you.
It's great. I'd love to hear it sometime. I'm trying to get my album from '97 that got shelved put on Spotify, but I'm not a technical wizard, so I'm going to get some assistance with that. But I'm hoping to have that up by July.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I won't be home next month, like at all. It's going to be nuts.
Oh,
it's like boom, boom, boom.
So let me ask, if I may, does the new anime Dragonball Dynama are you gonna have anything to do with that? Because Goku's a kid in that.
Goku does get turned back into a kid, and I did go back for GT, which was I think like 05, 06. Which, by the way, they're dropping a whole new line of Dragon Ball GT pops this summer.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've got a couple. One's going to be a GameStop exclusive, and then so he's got the Kamea Wave. If you go online, you can see all the pops that they're releasing. So I'm going to be having a whole nother wave of hopefully a lot of signings and stream leads and things like that. As far as anything new, I have absolutely no idea. I've been out of the loop for a long time, not by choice, but just by the politics of the industry and just I had some people in my life that were not great people that really wanted to kind of harm my career, and some of that was done. There were some phone calls made just because someone was mad that we were no longer together, and there's hints about a lot of that, and that's really unfortunate because it's interference of a business practice is what it is, and it's defamation and libel, and it's just sometimes that stuff happens, and it's even harder to prove to everybody that that wasn't true, and I really am a good person, and I can be on time, or whatever the reason, whatever the nervous energy was, or whatever went on. No one should be ousted. I mean, unless they committed crimes or something like.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like nobody's perfect. I mean, we're not all going to be in sync at the same time.
Exactly.
There's a lot of energy that sometimes with creative types that can be not so comfortable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What were some of your prominent gigs outside of Dragon Ball?
Well, I did the Dragon Ball Z stuff first, and then we finished that. I went all the way back to the beginning and went from the beginning to the Ginyu Saga. Then we picked up Dragon Ball. And then I started doing some side voices for Yu Yu Hakusho, and then started doing the themes to Case Closed and Kitty Grade, and recruiting singers for that. And then the next big role outside of all of the scope of Funimation was OKKO Let's Be Hero. It started out as a pilot in 2012. I was contacted by the writer in LA who was a huge Dragon Ball fan. And I did a lot of remote recording, and then it got picked up by Cartoon Network, and so then it became OKKO Let's Be Heroes. So I was able to be involved with I don't know, 8, 9, or 10 episodes of it. And then because I lived in Dallas and everybody else was there, and we have to record together, they had to get someone to voice match me to replace me. So, yeah, it hurt bad, but it's business, and with everything I was going through with the loss of family members and only thing I had left was my DFW people. So I wasn't just going to uproot at that point in my career and move to LA and not know anybody and not have anybody, and I'll visit there though, but it's a tough industry. It's very much who you know. A lot of really talented people never get discovered. I think now more than ever, it's easier to get discovered. You can get your stuff out there easier because of the internet.
So true.
Yeah, but that stuff could happen. That kind of stuff can happen really with any job. Where people just might not like you, and you get fired. It's like, okay, they don't like me, I'm getting fired. Like, it's hard. But I love my fans, and I'm excited about all the things that are coming up, and I'll be updating my website soon. And did y'all have any more questions before we
wrap up? He does.
Yeah. So I want to try and become a voice actor one day. And hold on, let me see. So what advice?
Yeah.
What advice can you give to like special voice actors out there that want to become voice actors?
Yeah, you got to get out there and work and practice with your voice and see what you're good at, see what you're best at, whether it's impressions, radio, industrials. There's all kinds of websites that like do castings for like small projects just to get people used to the rigmarole of auditioning, submitting auditions. You can take workshops online, classes. There's people that all over the world that do, voice acting workshops and how to exercise your voice, how to take care of your voice. There's in-person workshops depending on where you live, and really get that solid foundation of acting kind of under your belt, and then you can start really figuring out what you're best at with your voice. And then at some point, it's highly advisable to get a demo made, whether you hire someone to help you with it, or if you learn how to do it yourself, like the editing and the going from voice to voice. Doesn't need to be that long, maybe a minute long. I'm about to redo mine and resubmit to agents for voiceover. So it's an investment of time and sometimes money, but you can also be working have a real job doing something else, but then, during your free time, work on your voice acting, work on auditions, just read copy, see how you sound, listen back to it, and fine tune your craft and see if that's going to work for you. And as you do more and more of it, you'll learn more about what to do when you're ready for the next step.
Okay.
All right. Well, well, we know you gotta have a birthday dinner and everything, so we will let you go, and hopefully you enjoy.
Oh yeah, enjoyed it. Yeah, and if you guys have any questions outside of this, feel free to email me. And if anyone's out there listening, if you have questions of your own, I always write back to my fans. It might not be right away if I'm traveling, but stephanienadolnik.com is where you go to find me, and you can fill out a form submission. And also my email is stephaniefanmail@gmail.com. Pretty easy to remember. And I do autographs through the mail if there's somebody that wants something autographed, but there's not like an event that I've been able to be at where they are or overseas. I have all of the packing stuff and the cool markers and oil-based pens and everything to sign for so anyone needs a signature.
And if before you leave, can you do the Kigoku Kamehameha wave?
Kamehameha wave, how cute. Yes. Kamehameha.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for your time and enjoy your birthday dinner.
I sure am hungry, but you know what? I'm always hungry because I'm Goku. Oh my God, I love your laugh.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this was fun. We should do it again. Maybe.
No problem. For sure.
We'll get some more questions compiled and.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
We will get to you in the future.
Okay, and I'll help you spread everything around. And good luck to all of you. It's really nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
It was nice
meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Meeting you as well.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your year. If I don't talk to you again.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we'll for sure get to you. But yeah,
summertime is coming. Summertime.
Yes.
It's already so hot here, Texas.
Are you in Texas?
Floods,
what part of Texas?
He said, "What part of Texas?"
Dallas, Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
North Texas. It's the bipolar weather. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah, it's crazy. What about you guys?
I mean,
I live in Kentucky.
Oh, I used to live in Memphis, Tennessee. I was born there. I've been to Kentucky, but not recently. So you're in Houston?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you guys just got slammed with storms.
Yeah, we had like a severe tornado storm like a couple days ago.
Yeah, there's people without power. Yeah, I heard about it on the news. It's storm season. It's crazy. Tornadoes and everything else. What about you, Mix?
I'm actually from Maryland.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's a place that I haven't been yet. What's Baltimore? They have some events up there. Maybe reach out to some of them up that way.
That would be so cool.
Feel free to request me if you like. They have guest inquiry forms and things like that. Maybe I can get up that way.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we will hit you up later.
All right. Sounds good. You have a good rest of your night. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
You too. Oh. Bye.
I'm silly like that.